Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about how the Philly commute is on the verge of destruction. An arrest was made in a string of sexual assaults. Indigenous Peoples Day gets canceled and Columbus Day returns. And how much are they charging for crab fries at the Link? It's Friday, August 8th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week at the Filler Club is CityCast Philly executive producer Matt Katz. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Trenae, I think we're talking about SEPTA today. You think that's top of mind? You think that's the only thing we should be talking about?
Let me take a deep breath. Matt, SEPTA says it needs to know if it's getting the funding it needs to keep buses and trains on track.
That's right. We still don't have a budget. The budget was due July 1st, state budget. But since they're still, talking about how they're going to spend the billions of dollars they have up there and whether SEPTA is going to get the more than $200 million it needs to operate.
And not just SEPTA, but other
transit agencies,
transit
absolutely.
systems in the state. Yeah,
right. And so while we're waiting for all that to happen, while we're waiting for them to figure this out, these legislators, SEPTA says it literally is just going to have to go ahead with the cuts and go ahead and assume that it's not getting the money. So if they don't get the money in 6 days, everything's going to change about how people get around the city of Philadelphia. And that is whether you're taking the train, trolley, bus, or if you're in a car, because there's going to be so many more people driving cars.
Oh, my God. You already know how it is on 76. You know how it is on 95.
Can't even imagine.
Matt, tell us about just some of the key dates in the next couple of weeks.
Right. So August 14th, that's next Thursday. This is what's considered the point of no return, right? If they don't have a budget by then, the service cuts will go into effect on August 24th. So August 14th, we need to know if we're getting the money. If we don't know, then they're just going to go ahead and do the service cuts beginning August 24th. And then the fare increase starts September 1st, and regional rail service cuts go into effect September 2nd. And you can go to SEPTA.org and you can see how your commute will specifically be affected. But the bottom line is it's the elimination of 32 bus routes, shortening 16 routes, reducing service on 88 more routes, service cuts on regional rail, Broad Street, Market Frankfurt lines, and the trolleys. And then there's the fare increases on September 1st. And then January 1st, we would have another round of service cuts. I saw one number that just kind of really exemplified what this means. A normal schedule, there's more than 1,400 weekly trips on the regional rail lines, on the 13 regional rail lines. After these service cuts, it would go to 960 weekly trips. So, all of those people that normally would be on trains are not. And this really, from a personal standpoint, became very clear to me this week because I got an email from my kid's school. My kid's supposed to take the bus to school this year. And we got an email from the school with a PDF from SEPTA explaining what these cuts mean. And I went to look at my son's buses. His bus service will be cut 20%. So the bus will come every 15 minutes during rush hour, not every 12 minutes, both ways, right? So that amounts to 30 minutes a week. So therefore, my son loses 2 hours a month of either sleeping time or breakfast time or homework time or just hanging out time. And why? Because Republican state senators who live hours and hours away from my son's school think people who run his bus, this 10-year-old's bus, aren't spending their money properly. That's basically what it comes down to.
We are in the 11th hour, and I've really learned a lot from our reporting on this issue, just how essential budgets are and how funds are allocated to even who is representing us in Harrisburg, right? Over the last few weeks, we got into the nuance of transportation and moving people around our city and in the region, and just how a delayed state budget puts a strain on all of our lives. Honestly, Matt, this feels like a sick game because it is creating so much anxiety on the lives of working people, Ruben, on children and college students and educators who need to get to school and classes.
Right.
Our seniors who need to get to doctor's appointments. We are watching the Philly commute get destroyed.
Yep. And let's be clear where this process is right now. It is in negotiations between Governor Shapiro, a Democrat, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, which is controlled by Democrats. And then blocking this so far is the third piece of the stool, the reason why we're in this crisis. And that's because the state Senate is controlled by Republicans who don't think SEPTA can handle this money and will use this money properly and deserves this money. The state Senate is led by Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman. He represents Armstrong, Indiana, Jefferson, and Westmoreland counties, places most Philadelphians have probably never heard of, let alone been to. He lives in a little town called Indiana, Pennsylvania. I looked it up. It is nearly 5 hours away from us right now. So the Democrats in the House of Representatives did move on a bill this week to increase the sales tax in order to fund SEPTA. And as a carrot to rural legislators like Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman, they also approved $600 million in bonds for road construction, much of which would go to rural areas. So they're trying to figure out a way to meet these rural Republicans where they're at on this, but that they so far haven't moved. And the other thing that happened this week that was supposed to convince Republicans that we're deserving, I guess.
We deserve state funds.
Yeah. So the SEPTA released some numbers that were reported by the Inquirer about turnstile jumping.
Oh, like the fare evasion, not paying.
Exactly, because that's a big talking point among Pennsylvania Republicans that, it's just the Wild West down here in Philly and, you can just hop a turnstile. So that's the idea. But 3,200 people have been charged with theft of services over the last year for jumping the turnstile at SEPTA stations. They have to go to court. They have to pay a fine for as much as $300, and that's compared to 312 people over the same period last year. So it went from 312 people charged with this crime to 3,200 people. So SEPTA police, they're trying to show that they are taking this concern seriously.
For sure. Still doesn't justify why we are so delayed in this budget.
No.
All right. Our producer, Abby Fritz, was at a rally outside of City Hall this week, all around SEPTA funding. Abby spoke with a guy named Ray who really depends on SEPTA.
I really support public transit. I've had a long history. I've worked for the city of Philadelphia as a planner, and I use the bike and SEPTA to get places. And of course, walking on top of that. So those three are very, very important. This is going to be an incredibly crazy situation, and it will affect every county in Pennsylvania, not just Philadelphia County or the southeast Pennsylvania area. And so I think that it's going to reach a resolution, but that SEPTA is an important thing. We need to get this done.
Ride the bus, we say no to service cuts. Ride the train, we ride the bus, we say no to service cuts.
And then, Matt, on our way to an interview with a council member downtown at City Hall, I literally bumped into my old friend Tony Brooks on JFK and North Broad Street. He must have recognized my curls or something. I don't know. But he was also on his way to the SEPTA rally. Tony is wheelchair bound, and he told me that without SEPTA service, it is going to stifle how he gets around the city. Here's what he told me.
I am here because of the SEPTA cuts which are happening in the city to not only the subway system, but the bus system, which is going to affect a lot of people. And I think they have forgotten about the disabled community. As I am a member of ADAPT, which is spelled ABAPT. It's the Americans for Disability Act for Public Transportation. People have forgotten about the ADA. And it is my access that you're resisting me from having my freedom to travel.
Now, I did ask Tony, without SEPTA, what other ways does he have to get around? And he told me he would have to rely on a taxi network, like companies like Uber and Lyft that have accessibility to take him and his wheelchair.
Man,
But it is going to be difficult.
this affects so many people in so many different ways, right? Wow. If there are listeners out there who want to share with us how these cuts are going to affect your life, get in touch. You can text us 215-259-8170. If you want to leave us a voicemail at that number, 215-259-8170. Maybe we'll play it on the show. You can also email us at philly@citycast.fm.
All right, we've got more news after the break.
Got some good news for your ears. More of that good stuff is coming up. And even better news for your hair. The best hair care is at Sephora. They've got all kinds of products for every kind of hair. From brands like Amika, Kerastase, Day, and K18. You knew where to get great audio. Now, you know where to get great hair care too. Sephora, good news for great hair. Shop hair care now at Sephora.com.
As a sports fan, I have to confess. Sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
All right. Authorities have arrested a suspect they say is linked to 6 sexual assaults in the city. They identified this man as 37-year-old Dynell Walker. According to 6ABC, it was an anonymous tip that led to his arrest while he was charging his phone inside a Sam's Club over in Montgomery County. These assaults happened in Center City and South Philly and really just alerted the public to how vulnerable we can be in the streets.
Yeah, I mean, this man was allegedly coming up from behind women, and as they were getting to their apartments, it was happening during the day, it was happening late at night, sometimes while they were walking to the street, sometimes while they were walking into their homes, it was reported. I mean, seemingly random serial violence is what scares a lot of Philadelphians the most. Because of this, I stopped my daughter from walking around alone. And I think we should all just remember those normal precautions about safety in the city, right? Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of everybody around you. Keep those earbuds out of your ears, or at least have them at a low enough volume. If you're listening to CityCast, really just, have it at a low enough volume that you can still hear the street, that you can be aware of people walking behind you. You can be aware of the horn on the car. And, when you're opening the door to your home or your car, just, make sure that there's nobody around. Walk on the lit side of the street. Maybe take public transportation if available, or an Uber if you're, instead of walking home alone at night. I mean, just the normal safety reminders. I think this is a reason to keep those in mind.
For sure. Matt, remember we talked about the story of the exhibits in Independence Mall that were flagged that would essentially erase significant facts and information about our nation's history?
Yeah, they were flagged by workers at Independence Mall, federal employees, because President Trump had this executive order saying he didn't want anything that was negative about America to be displayed in these, national historic sites.
And we're talking about the facts,
yeah,
the information, the history of enslaved people.
Right, and the brutality of it.
Right.
And these could be removed as soon as next month if the administration approves these recommendations.
Another story that came out this week was about how the city recognized, or maybe is not allowed to recognize, Indigenous Peoples Day. On Wednesday, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court found that former Mayor Jim Kenney violated the city charter by replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. So back in 2021, he signed an executive order to make the change. Well, the court is saying that city council should have been a part of this. And so in an unanimous vote, all 7 appeals court judges ruled that it was invalid.
So Kenney, when he was mayor, also had recognized Juneteenth as a city holiday, the holiday marking the end of slavery. So does this also affect that? Like, do we lose Juneteenth as well?
So since the PA General Assembly had recognized Juneteenth, actually back in 2019, it's all good. They had not done that with Indigenous Peoples Day.
So now it'll be Columbus Day come October 13th and not Indigenous Peoples Day? Unless city council intervenes here?
In the sense of governmental things, but I mean, you can't tell people not to celebrate something.
Well, it's be what it's called. It'll
Right.
be called again Columbus Day in school and in official city language.
Unless we have advocates to get it recognized as a state holiday. But this also speaks to how I kind of have just gathered. Philly is just often haunted by these conversations of racial communities.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still not fully getting along.
No, I mean, do you remember when Columbus was of heightened focus during the aftermath of the George Floyd protests in 2020?
Yep.
And there were marches around South Philly because there's a Columbus statue down there and it has been since 1876. And activists said that Columbus really personified the brutality of European settlers against indigenous people here, against Native Americans. So Mayor Kenney at the time, who was also behind replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, he called for taking down the Columbus statue, at which point Italian Philadelphians protested and marched
saying that
around
this is going to block their history.
Their history is
Right.
being erased. So then the city covered up the statue in a plywood box, which was really bizarre, as if we couldn't look at the statue. But regardless, there was a lawsuit, and then the box was removed, and the statue is now there in South Philly, as it has been since 1876. So,
However,
yeah,
let's go back around. So that's in South Philly. Let's go back into Center City. And around this time, we saw the removal of the Frank Rizzo statue, former mayor and police commissioner who a lot of Philadelphians said was racist. So that has now been removed. And soon we're going to get a new statue, Sadie Alexander,
who was the first Black woman to graduate from Penn Law.
And the first to get a PhD in economics.
A lot of these battles over history are really about what's happening in the here and now.
I mean, essentially, this is really about whose history is told, whose history is preserved, or in some cases, hidden.
Well said, Trenae.
All right, we'll be back after this break.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and zero cooking. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite food delivered straight to you. Get Burger King, Subway, Popeyes, and hundreds more local favorites and savor every last bite. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
All right, Matt. Can you believe it? Like last Thursday, my son, he's like, Mom, football's back. And I'm like, whoo, yeah, baby. Our Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, are having a public practice on Sunday.
I'm going.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, gates open at 4. Everything starts at 6. Parking is free.
Oh, sweet.
They say get there early.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Tickets are sold out. So if you know someone that knows someone that knows someone, it's the only way you're getting there. But if you did purchase a ticket, all the proceeds are going to the Eagles Autism Foundation. But Matt.
Yeah.
What's going on the internet?
People are selling these tickets.
For how much?
Even though these tickets only cost $10, and even though the proceeds go to the Eagles Autism Foundation, to charity, because the practice is sold out, people are putting these tickets on StubHub for so much more than the $10 they actually cost. I'm looking at StubHub right now. Eagles training camp. 2 tickets, $69 each. This one is $244 each. This is
not
insane.
for the practice.
This is insane.
Come
People
on,
are
y'all.
trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, the Inquirer this week reported on a viral photo taken from the link that appears to show what concession prices are this year.
Oh, dear God. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So guess how much it costs for crab fries with 2 cheese cups at Chickies and Pete's, at the restaurant, not at the stand at the link.
Okay.
So just to give you some context.
Maybe like $10?
Pretty good guess, $9.
Okay.
So now at the link, according to this picture, crab fries, 2 cheese cups.
Oh, no.
Like in Financial Field.
Oh, no.
$9 at the restaurant 2 blocks away. And $25.50.
Are you beep, 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 kidding me?
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
And Aramark was very evasive. The Aramark being the company that, runs concessions at the link. They were very evasive with the Inquirer about whether these are the prices for the season. But I'll report back on Sunday when I go to try to buy crab fries. They're charging $4 a piece for the cups, for the cheese cups.
I can't even say the cheese ain't even worth it, but it is. Like, you got to have the cheese with the crab fries.
Yeah, right. You're not going to knock at the cheese, but still.
I need rich friends.
Right? Just to buy you fries.
Just to buy some.
That's
fries. If you get in.
Yeah. And it's the games with more than 3 hours. The fries aren't even going to fill you up.
They're not. But maybe they're baking that you're drunk or you've tailgated.
Right. Either way, ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you're not going to the preseason practice.
Oh, I didn't say I wasn't
Sunday.
going.
Oh, you might go?
Somebody might have an extra ticket for me.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, we'll see you out there then.
Okay, other than the Eagles practice, do you have other plans? What you doing? Where you going to be?
I was going to go to this weird thing that my friend told me about that sent me down this rabbit hole. It's called the Philadelphia Keyboard Meetup. And apparently it's sold out, but you can join the waiting list.
It's sold out.
It's so
like,
busy.
What?
So apparently there are people super into creating their own keyboards for their computers.
Oh, I thought you meant like musical keyboards.
No, this is for like your keyboard to type on. And people like soup up their keyboards. So they will change the colors of the keys, and then they change the switch, which is basically like how the keys, like when you press down on them, how it works. So
like the feel.
The switch, the mechanism, which is under the keycap that registers a keystroke. So they have all these different types of switches. There's smooth keystrokes, which are called linear. There's tactile with a big bump. And then there's clicky. People like the clicky. Yeah. So that's happening on Saturday at the Mask and Wig in the neighborhood. It's considered the best keyboard meetup in the entire world for a lot of wacky layouts, beautiful artisans, ancient vintage, and marvelous giveaways. I mean, it's so popular that it's currently sold out, but you can join the waiting list. And I just want to quote Siani Colon, our newsletter editor.
Hey, Siani.
She had written about an event for bald people coming up later this month called Bald Fest at the Grace Ferry Skate Park on August 23rd. And what she said was, quote, "You cannot say there's nothing to do in this city, truly." And I feel that way about the keyboard meetup. If anybody goes to that thing, please report back. I'm so curious.
Yes, Siani is right. Like, if you can't find something to do, check out the Hey Philly newsletter, daily Philly events. I'm looking at the list right now. Saturday is packed with stuff to do.
Nice.
You know what? I'm going to actually head over to West Philly and check out the mushroom coffee at Plant and People. A friend of mine, I want to shout out AJ Solutions, commented on a reel that we posted on social media about our episode that we did talking about coffee shops. And yes, this is not a complete list, a complete guide of all the coffee shops in the city, but some of our favorites. And she recommended Plant and People, which is a plant shop, nursery and gardening store, but also a coffee shop. They actually have a back-to-school plant sale happening on Saturday from 10 to 5 p.m. So for students and teachers, if you show your school ID, you can get 25% off select low-maintenance plants. That's the deal. I'm going to check that out this weekend.
Oh, nice. Enjoy.
Yeah. Matt, do you know that the city is driving around a hiring bus? It's rolling around the town. So the city's Office of Human Resources has a mobile recruitment center where Philadelphians can literally learn about open positions and apply for jobs right on the spot.
Wow, cool.
So this hiring bus is going to be at the Summer Night Lights tonight from 4 to 8 p.m. at 1101 West Susquehanna Avenue. And on Saturday, the bus is going to make a stop at 10 a.m. to 2 at State Rep Andre Carroll's Back to School giveaway at 730 East Shelton Avenue. And if you want more ideas, we got neighborhood shout-outs. Pew, 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 pew.
Neighbor shout-outs for the people who became CityCast Philly neighbors. We just started this program, $10 a month. You get a load of perks. And one of the perks you get is Trenae will shout out anything, business, nonprofit in your neighborhood that you think deserves a shout out. So here we go.
Peter wants to shout out Sophie's Corner at 1112 Locust. Says, delicious French Moroccan food with wall-to-wall windows looking out on the next door community garden.
I co-sign that, Peter. That place is lovely.
Mahal wants to shout out Friends of Laurel Hill and the people who care for the grounds and produce creative and meaningful programs.
That's at the Laurel Hill Cemetery.
Mm-hmm. They say, great place for time with friends or solo with the gates open 7 to 7. Thanks especially to the volunteers. Rita wants to shout out Ashe Yoga in East Falls. Rita says, it's truly serene yoga focused on individual needs, relaxation, and breath awareness. Remember we were talking about that before the show? Gotta take a deep breath.
Namaste.
Namaste. We also want to shout out our new neighbors. Welcome, Rita, Julie R., Julie E., Renee, Aaron, John. Let's also welcome Victoria, Nathan, and Francis. Hey, y'all. You can join this group of neighbors, support the show, and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. Wow, that was a lot to talk about today, Matt.
Busy week. I hope you have a relaxing weekend, Trenae.
You too. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our producers are Abby Fritz and Lizzie Goldsmith. Our Hey Philly newsletter editor is Siani Colon. And our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, please share it in the group chat, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.